Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Manhattan Community Board 11 Housing Committee. Today, March 3rd, 2026. It is roughly 6:33 p.m. and the meeting is called to order. So thank you all for who are here. Just a few ground rules to go over. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. The chat should not be used to discuss or pose questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Okay, with that, the meeting was called to order at 6:33, and now we will have a roll call.
Committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. Marie Charles. David Giordano. James Gray. John Green. Christina Johnson.
Present.
James Kemp. Jessica Morris. Nelson Rama.
Present.
Beverly Pabon.
Present.
Dawn Sanders. Loretta So.
Present.
Andy Vivas Vasquez. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Everyone has been provided with a copy of the agenda. If there is no objection to the current agenda, we will adopt it as stated. Adoption of the minutes. I have not reviewed the minutes if they've been submitted. So if so, we will wait till the next meeting to adopt the minutes. Announcement or informational updates? Does anybody have any?
Well, I do.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Lexington Houses is having a fire safety committee. A fire safety presentation along with NYCHA's fire people. Tomorrow at 6:30. Yes, they are coming. Tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. The address is 1539 Lexington Avenue, apartment 1H. It's between 99th and 98th Street. And next month, a cancer lung screening informational session from Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital. Same time, same address.
Same date?
Oh, I'm sorry. April 1st. I think it is the first Wednesday of April.
Okay, thank you so much. If there are no further announcements, we will move on to the agenda. There are two items listed under our information updates. A is supportive housing development project at 2162 3rd Avenue and short-term transitional housing at 6770 East 129th Street. We're going to move on to the presentations and discussions. I don't see anyone here. Are they online? Yes. Okay, great. The first one is the informational presentation regarding the New York Interfaith Commission for Housing Equality's Defend Harlem campaign. And as listed here as Nate French and Kai Kongsville. Thank you for coming, wherever you are.
Hey, I'm here. This is Kai Cogsville.
How are you doing, Kai?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for your time. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, this won't take too long. I just wanted to give a couple of updates about the work we're doing and some of the important actions that are happening. Like I stated earlier, my name is Kai Cogsville. I am the communications director for the New York Interfaith Commission for Housing Equality. This is a group of religious leaders and community organizers, as well as concerned residents based in Harlem, that was started around 10 to 12 years ago to fight displacement and create more economic opportunities here in Harlem. our church that we meet out of is Mount Olivet Baptist Church on 121st and Lenox. We usually meet there once a month, and I'm happy to share any info we have with you all about upcoming meetings and events that we have going on. One of the main reasons I wanted to speak with you all today is about the proposed 145 project that is happening. Throughout New York City right now, there's a real issue when it comes to quote unquote affordable housing because it doesn't include people that earn between minimum wage and $65,000 a year. And these really are the true working class people that make up the community of Harlem. And that's people that are excluded a lot from this 145 development that is going to be on Lenox Avenue. And it's important to mention that if this project is passed with the certain income requirements that they have right now, that will set a precedent for further development that will displace our community with the Lenox Terrace extension, as well as the Lincoln Correctional Facility. So what we have is a form that people can send out to the mayor as well as the governor to have them try and intervene in this project to make sure those income levels are much lower and that we can make the project 50% actually affordable so that people earning between minimum wage and $65,000 a year can afford to live in this apartment. So what I can do is is it okay if I send a message to the group chat with the script so they can send it on their own time?
Yeah, the chat is
Yeah, that's
enabled? Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, please.
Okay. And then the last thing is if you want to follow more about the work that we're doing, you can follow us on defend.harlem on Instagram. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I appreciate the time.
Okay, yes, I have a question, and then our district manager, Angel Muscane, has a question. My question is, do you off the top of your head know what are the AMIs that are being used for this project? Because I don't have the project obviously in front of me, so, I know that you're saying from 0 to 65,000 is not covered, which, depending on the funding that they're using, maybe that's why that's not happy. So I'm just curious as to what the income bands are for this project right now, if you know.
I
If you
think
don't,
it's at 60% AMI is the lowest. And so it's a good question because we spoke with the developer and he said he can make the project meet the affordability request that we're asking for so that people earning between minimum wage and 65K can live in the project if the city steps up and offers subsidies. So this is a shovel-ready project and the mayor has yet to respond to us. So, this is a real concern because by the end of March, they're probably going to start construction on this project. And we're looking at 1,000 units on Lenox Avenue. I mean, that's the heartbeat of Harlem. That's going to really change the trajectory of that community. So yeah.
thank you so much, Kai. Mr. Muscane?
Hi, if you could also email me what you're gonna put in the chat, just email it to Angel Muscane. We're in that email chain, if you could just share it there, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
but I mean, I understand it's Defend Harlem, and Harlem is East Harlem, Central, and West Harlem. You are aware that that property though is not in our district, right? That's Community Board 10.
Yeah, I think he.
100%. I'm alerting every single community board about this.
Okay, I just wanted to understand that.
Harlem is Harlem at the end of the day, so I think it's important.
I didn't say that it wasn't.
Loretta,
Where exactly is the location?
And this is East Harlem.
can you just, give us the address again?
Yeah, 145th and Lenox Avenue.
Okay, it's just that.
Right next to where National Bank.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Beverly?
Yes, hi, and thank you, Kai, for this information. This is part of the program that was a lot of Community Board 10 was against, back in the day when, council member, oh,
Kristen Richardson, Jordan?
right, was, fighting for this because she wanted more affordable housing also than what they proposed. It's the same project, correct?
Yeah, this is the exact same project. And one of the reasons, like I previously somewhat stated, is that Kristen was so against it is that at those income levels, you know, the developers of Lenox Terrace as well as Lincoln Correctional are looking really closely so that they can use the same income levels to then develop other projects, as well as what will happen in East Harlem and West Harlem. So that's why, you know, we're kind of raising this as an emergency right now.
And if, are you asking the community boards of all of Harlem for, what kind of support are you asking for them to do in order to get these lower incomes?
We're asking them to contact, and I'll send the script in a second, to contact the deputy mayors, specifically Leela Borzorg, who's the housing deputy, to get her attention. I mean, the fact that the mayor hasn't even responded on this issue is, you know, kind of a scary thing for us. So that's the main thing. We're asking them to just get their attention by sending out some emails so we can at least have a conversation so that these politicians that don't understand the actual ramifications of this project, so we could have a conversation so they understand the further implications of this development.
Kai, what does the current council person feel about this project? Is that Yusuf Salam?
Yes.
Has he voiced an opinion, on this project because he's basically inherited it?
Yeah, so we've met with Youssef, and he definitely made it more affordable than what it would have been, but he was not close to as aggressive as Kristen was in terms of the exact affordability lines and including what Community Board 10 was asking for. So that's why we're trying to, and we've asked, one thing we asked Youssef to do that he didn't was to do a real cultural impact study to show what this would do in terms of the economics of Lenox Avenue, which I'm from Central Harlem, like that's our strip of what that will happen. And he didn't do that either. So that's why we're trying to really get the attention of the mayor. So that's kind of where we're at, sadly.
Kai, in regards to this project, you stated that, by the end of this month, they will probably be breaking ground. So is it too late to be asking for, more affordability at this point?
Well, it's not too late since the developer has at least been updating us, saying as in we still have time to get the affordability for the project. So the ball is somewhat in his court. So until he says it's too late, we're going to keep pushing this project to make it deeply more affordable. So that's kind of where we're at right now in terms of timeline. But end of March, it might be later than that. So, you know, that's where we are today.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Do you have a
I
question?
do, but I'm not sure how to frame it. Can I
Just say
submit?
it.
Can I submit it later? Can I submit it later?
Sure.
Yeah,
Just think on
because yeah.
Okay, all right. So I want to thank you very much. I'm not quite sure because I haven't read the particulars of this project in a while, what the, you know, what the buckets are that are financing the project. But I'm definitely gonna look into it. You've put in the information in the chat. I have no computer in front of me, so, you
gonna
said
do
you
it now.
have the information in the chat, right? So you don't forget that?
Yeah.
And Kai, I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention and asking us for our input and participation in this as well. And we will get back to you, you know. Oh, wait, we have
One more question, Kai. In regards to Community Board 10, what are their feelings on this?
Community Board 10, I've met with 9 and now 11. I should be meeting with 10 soon. I haven't presented in front of 10 yet. I've spoken with a lot of the individual members and they're on the same page as I am. So they're just worried about that this will cause kind of that negative domino effect in terms of further displacement to the community.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kai. All right, we're going to go to our second presentation. It's an informational presentation regarding the Manhattan Clean Energy Hub. And we have, I see Joran Burke from We Act is on my agenda. Go to it.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me to speak tonight. Can you all hear me okay?
Absolutely perfect.
Fantastic. Well, I will also try to keep it relatively brief. I'm sure you all have a lot of things to discuss, so I have a couple of slides I'll share, but really just here to share some information about the Manhattan Clean Energy Hub, which is a resource for everyone living in Manhattan, every resident of Manhattan, including folks in Community Board 11. So if it's okay, I'll go ahead and share my screen and share a little bit about what the Manhattan Clean Energy Hub is. So essentially, we're one of 12 clean energy hubs throughout the state. We're funded by NYSERDA, which is the New York State Energy Research Development Authority, and we are a resource to help folks who are struggling with their energy bill, who are looking for green workforce opportunities, and for folks who are looking to make any improvements to their building or to their apartment, whether it's adding heat pumps, solar panels, insulation, weather stripping, that sort of stuff. And we're a resource, a free resource for folks that are looking to do any of those things. And the Manhattan Clean Energy Hub is facilitated by We Act for Environmental Justice, which is where I come in. We're the lead organization for the Manhattan Clean Energy Hub, and we've been an institution in Northern Manhattan for a long time. So we're happy to be the lead for this project. We've been doing this work for a couple of years now, but have had different levels of success of raising awareness about the Manhattan Clean Energy Hub and making people aware that we are a resource here to help them navigate things like lowering their energy bill and some of those other things I mentioned. So we're just trying to make more of a concerted effort to be out in community as much as possible, which is why I'm here tonight, just to share this information that we are here as a resource, and that we're making an effort specifically to reach folks in disadvantaged communities and as identified by the state, but really just thinking about folks that are left out of these programs generally. So most of Northern Manhattan, folks living in Northern Manhattan often don't have opportunities to access these programs to make these improvements. Some other neighborhoods in Manhattan, like the Lower East Side, and other folks that we really try to make a concerted effort to reach. So we're here to help folks navigate the different programs that are available for them, whether it's low-income home energy assistance programs, so LIHEAP, or whether it's accessing SNAP or other benefits. We help folks access those programs in addition to energy-related programs. So we're kind of a whole bundle of support for anyone who needs it. And we have a couple of workshops that are coming up that are relevant for anyone in Community Board 11 and other folks that I wanted to share. So one of them is a community solar workshop that we have coming up next week, so very soon. And it's an informational workshop to help folks understand what community solar is. And for folks that aren't familiar with it, it's an opportunity to subscribe to community solar projects that are available for anyone living in Manhattan, so they don't have to have solar on their rooftop of their building. They can still access it through their utility, which for anyone living in Manhattan is Con Edison. And so this workshop will walk people through how does that work? How do I sign up? And what are the benefits? One of those being that folks can save up to 10% and in some cases up to 20% on their utility bill. So it's a great program that a lot of folks aren't aware of or aren't aware of how to sign up and take advantage of it. So for folks that are interested, you can go to you can RSVP or register for the workshop. I have the link here and a QR code. I'm also going to send the flyer for this event over to Angel after this so that you all can distribute it to anyone who would like to join. But that's coming up next Tuesday, March 10th at 6:30. It'll be on Zoom virtually, so anyone can join from the comfort of their home. And we're excited to share that information. And the second workshop that we have coming up is what are called our Energy Smart workshops. So these are a great way for folks to learn about different tools and tips that they can use in their home to reduce their energy bill. And anyone who attends the workshop will get to take home, or I guess pick up, since it's a virtual workshop, a home energy kit, which is worth about $90 with different measures like a weather stripping, window insulation kit, the plastic film that you can kind of put over your window and help keep the cold air out, or in the summer keep the hot air out. And there's some LED light bulbs in there, and smart power strips. So lots of cool stuff that are in those kits, and anyone who attends these Energy Smart workshops will learn how to use those things, and then can pick those up from our office. So that workshop is coming up later this month, March 31st. It's also a Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. and on Zoom. We're hoping to have some of these in person later this year, but this is the one that we have coming up the soonest, and you can see the link there as well to sign up in the QR code. But I'll also share the flyer for this with Angel so that can get distributed to anyone who's interested. So these are just some things that we have coming up, and all these are just ways to help folks lower their energy bill. I know energy affordability is a big topic right now, folks being able to afford their energy bill and navigate what has been a really cold winter. So just some resources that are available for folks. With that, I'll just direct folks, if folks have questions or want to learn more about what we do, the easiest way is to go to our website, manhattancleanenergyhub.org. That's also on all of our flyers, so you can find it there, and you can reach out with any questions. But we're really just here as a resource to help folks. Like I said, if you're struggling with your utility bill, if you're looking for green jobs, jobs in kind of the renewable energy or clean energy sector, or you're in a building that is in need of some repairs, whether it's insulation or is drafty, needs new windows or things like that, then there's incentives and rebates out there to help make that more affordable. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and open it up to any questions that anyone has.
Thank you, Mr. Burke, for your presentation. A quick question. If we're aware of buildings that might benefit from this information,
Yes,
we can just point them to your website so that
absolutely.
they can get more information? Okay.
Yes, if you go to manhattancleanenergyhub.org, there's a form that you can submit that will ask for some basic information. Really, it's just name and contact information. There's other boxes there to provide more information, like your address, which will help us identify what specific additional incentives and things you might be eligible for. But all that people need to submit is name and then a phone or email address, and then we'll follow up and get more information and help them navigate whatever it is that they're looking to access.
Okay, and then just one more question. I know people who live in, I'll call them luxury housing, but they're mixed houses where they come in with affordable units, but then their energy bills go quite high because if they're not using Con Edison, they're using another provider. Would they be eligible to look at this information and maybe avail itself of it? Or is it just for like certain programs, certain buildings that could avail itself from this program?
Yeah, anyone who's living in Manhattan can reach out to us, and we can help them navigate, even if they're not a Con Edison customer necessarily. There are some programs that they might still be able to take advantage of. Anyone can attend our Energy Smart workshop and get that kit that has some of those measures that anyone can go home and use. Anyone that's not in Manhattan, there are other clean energy hubs in other boroughs. So anyone that comes our way, even if they don't live in Manhattan, we can direct them to the right place and make sure that they are able to access those same programs and incentives. So definitely send them to our website, and anyone that you think might be interested in this information or these resources.
Everyone that I know. Am I mispronouncing your name when I call you Sharon?
Jaren. Like Aaron, but with a J. Yep, I get all kinds of pronunciations. So
people always mispronounce my name, so I'm sensitive about that. Is there any other questions for Jaren?
Beverly? Again, thank you for your presentation. My question is, just recently there was some issues in the news regarding energy and solar panels being put on people's buildings and they're not operational. Would you be able to help people with that? You know, if they come to you, could you also help them with that?
Yeah, so I would love to see that article. I'm not surprised. I know there's different issues that come up when you install any kind of equipment, so solar panels are no different. But yeah, folks have issues with their solar panels, whether it's they need some what repairs, that's the word I was looking for, repairs or maintenance or things like that. You can definitely send them our way. There are different programs that are out there to help support the cost. You know, there's a cost piece that's attached to that. So if you know anyone who is having issues with solar panels or anything like that, you can definitely direct them to us. There's always the eligibility and whatnot for the program. So we'll help people navigate and find out what they would be eligible for and whatnot, and just help them navigate what they can take advantage of. But regardless, we can help them kind of figure out what they need and go from there. So feel free to send them our way.
Thank you.
Candy?
Hi, thank you for your presentation, although I came in a little late, but, do you have any type of incentive or programs that you know of anyone that can receive any type of rebates from the local law 97 that are installing the, what do you call these, the ACs on the wall?
The heat pumps, is that what you're thinking of?
Heat pumps, but it's also that it's, they can take care of putting the heat and the AC.
Yes. Yeah, there are lots of different programs that are out there. The biggest factor comes down to the type of the building. For larger buildings, like any building that has 5 or more occupants or 5 or more apartments in them, there are different programs. And for smaller buildings, so anything that's like 1 to 4 units in them, there's different programs. But they both have incentives that are available to help support the cost of installing that equipment. So if you or anyone you know is interested in getting access to that in their building, we're definitely a great resource to figure out what incentives are out there to help lower the cost for that.
But that you said up to 5 units, but how about when there are more like 100 units?
For larger buildings, there are as well. There's just different programs depending on the size of the building. So for those larger buildings, there are different programs they might be able to take advantage of, but there are still incentives for those larger buildings.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Any other questions? I don't see any more questions, Sharon. So I want to thank you for giving us this great information. I didn't know about it, but I'm definitely going to make sure that others know about it, especially those in property management, because it sounds like you're hidden resource. So thank you for reaching out and wanting to present to us.
Yeah. Thanks for making the time for letting me join and for your questions.
Absolutely. Always. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to the agenda. The committee review of the preliminary budget documents and preparation of comments to be submitted to the District Needs and Budget Committee for inclusion in the board's written response to the mayor. I have to say that I've been having trouble with my email and I didn't send the information. However, we have a representative here from the District Needs and Budget Committee who is going to inform us on what we need to do. And if you have our section that you want, I can make copies of it.
Can we put it up there? The budget sheet with the requests that they have to put on the statement?
I can make copies.
I can make copies.
All right, I mean, otherwise I don't know how you guys can have a copy.
This,
Is that
Is that
This-
what?
the housing one only?
well, what's nice is now it is broken up
By,
into sections.
yeah.
Yeah, so I have the
Okay.
sections here that, actually, there are 5 capital things that were for housing.
Okay.
4 of them, they said they will accommodate, so it is pretty good. There's the one for NYCHA, which they said, they cannot accommodate, they don't have the money, and that's to do the walkways.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. So
Do you want me to read it out loud, since you brought the stuff, and then you can walk us?
This is the one that wasn't supported, they said they cannot accommodate. I can-
The walkway?
The walkway.
It is.
Okay, so the one that they couldn't accommodate was request number 01311202724C. The request was on the other public housing upgrades for renovations requests. Explanation, provide funding for
966.
the,
I just know the number.
So you come from the top, I'll come from
Page.
We'll meet in the middle.
provide, no, that's okay. Provide funding for the repair, that's not this one?
No. It begins on 966.
Okay, so the one I'm reading is provide funding for the repair of damaged walkways within NYCHA developments. Many of the walkways within NYCHA developments are riddled with potholes and other structural defects. These potholes and other structural defects make it difficult for people to navigate safely around NYCHA developments, especially seniors. Furthermore, this presents a real safety issue to our NYCHA residents and visitors. It said that the agency supports but cannot accommodate, and we are happy to work with our elected officials, and stakeholders to find funding for this project. Now, was that our explanation, or was that their explanation?
This is our explanation.
This is our
their explanation.
Or that they're happy to work with the electeds?
Which is still a pretty favorable response to some of them. It is interesting. And I think we talked about it yesterday, is depending upon which committee and who responds. Yes, Adrian.
I'm sorry, just let me know what page you're on so that I can display it for the
Yeah,
folks that are
so-
online.
I-
Just the page from there, yeah.
Right, this says 274, but yes. It would be, we begin at 966, I know that. Oh, you got that.
Page
274. Yeah, and it's on the bottom, and that request was to NYCHA. The other requests, were, basic, senior housing and different forms of it, where they did approve all of those.
Do you know the page of that?
That's on, 267.
Page, yeah, because when I go back to it.
So the other ones is for the Department of Housing and Preservation. The next, four are all very similar in terms of the different types of housing, provide, expand, or
Okay.
enhance loan programs to rehabilitate multiple dwelling buildings. And the agency supports and can accommodate. HPD is constantly adding new rehabilitation and preservation projects. It is in development pipeline. One of the things I want to know is like, okay, so where are
Right,
Like-
in the development pipeline.
they? But where? Like, where are these being
There's a
targeted
timeline.
for? What neighborhoods? Because it
Right.
seems more general,
Yeah.
and maybe that's what we kind
And
of
so
want to
that should
focus
be,
on,
yes,
right? Where are these things being targeted? What neighborhoods? What communities? And I'm sure that each community needs them, right?
Mhm.
But I don't think they're building them in each community every year. The other one before that was provide more housing for special needs households such as, formerly homeless. Agency supports and can accommodate. HPD will continue, one thing I should say though, people should read these things before we come here, in order we should know these things. So we're not reading them, we're just really discussing what we're gonna do.
right, but because
No, I'm
the
just saying.
audience, no, you're right,
Because with youth, I'm gonna get on it, because I already told them.
right, but the people who are watching may not know. So even though we won't read the whole thing, what you're doing is actually very educational, so.
So those are the first two that they will support. Provide more housing to seniors, agency supports and can accommodate. HPD will continue to fund construction of senior housing form of development pipeline to maximize available resources. Again, where? Are there any in our neighborhoods?
So that can be part of our comments.
Other capital budget requests, for HPD, and I'll just read what we were asking for here, because it's really an explanation. Provide 100% funding, to the remaining tenant interim lease buildings located in East Harlem pertaining to existing tenants and potential homeowners in less, sorry about reading, my eyes is bad. In less than 80% of AMI, including but not limited to 102nd Street, 102 East 98th Street, 2 East 127th Street. This will ensure these renters become shareholders under the HDFC program. So again, they said that they support and can accommodate. HP is committed to rehabilitating TIL programs and preserving them as affordable housing. So do we have those programs in this community? Which one, Gina?
Yeah, they do have those, one building I don't see on there is the 311. I'm not sure what's going on with that building, 311, Pleasant Avenue.
Do we have that on our original list? Like,
I don't know
See,
what their status is.
when I wrote up in there, read in there with the addresses, is what we put.
Right,
So if the address is not there, then we didn't put it there,
okay,
okay?
Okay.
Yeah. That's in our explanation of what we asked for.
oh, okay.
And then their explanation is their response.
Is that they
The second
will
one.
support?
Yeah.
And can accommodate, but they don't have no timeline, or
Specifics.
no specific.
Since we're,
That's the problem.
Candy?
since we're on, the screen and we have other members and guests, let them know what the TIL means, TIL, which is the Tenant Interim Leasing Program with HPD, just so they all know.
So what is it? I don't know what that is.
Well, the TIL program is a program that started in 1997. It's one of the first programs for home ownership of buildings that were owned by the city. What they did was train the tenants association, to become an association, train the tenants to do, the financial reports and hire supers and make repairs, collect the rent and stuff like that. And after the program was that HPD would do a renovation of the property. It started out with them fixing major systems like roof, plumbing, electrical, and some rehabilitation of the apartments. And after that, they would be able to buy their units for $250. HPD has changed the program that it has morphed into ANCP, Affordable Neighborhood Cooperative Program, where the sale of the apartments would be $2,500. The tenants will not be self-managing. They would have to have a third-party managing company. But under the ANCP program, which started, I think, in 2012, within the last 10 years, they only did like 10 apartments, 10 projects. So the borough president at the time, Mr. Levine, did a report on the ANCP program and found that it was slacking because they only did a few apartments per year, built up buildings. So there's been a lot of buildings that's still in the pipeline, not only in East Harlem, but other places. And they're slowly deteriorating because the work has not been done. Tenants are dying off. So they don't let the tenants rent apartments, and there's a lot of vacancies.
If this isn't our requests, and most of us have been here,
Right.
why are we going through the definition of it again?
Well, just for.
It's in our, no, I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, we're on a timeline here,
Oh,
just
okay.
letting you all know. We have full board, and our thing is due on March 25th. So I'd suggest, and I was at the budget meeting, and this is not me telling you guys, that we have to put our statement in, right? So the part of your statement is the housing responses to what the agency said. And we could do what we, I think, have done, Angel, correct me if I'm wrong, when they say they have it, as you guys are all frustrated. They say, oh yeah, we're working on, we have funding, and then what? We should be, I think our statement should be asking for more details on the thing.
Timeline.
The timeline, what funding, where, what are you doing? And then the other component to this, which is ambitious, is to go to these public hearings that are coming in the coming weeks, to give testimony. The idea is for somebody from each committee to try to go give testimony. I think you could do it virtually as well. So I would say tonight to just go through these and get your questions down for your statement, vote on those. And then the other thing would be to have some testimony. It doesn't have to be on everything. You pick the 3 to 5 points you think that, and then if somebody can go testify, they have a script, because they should be testifying on what you guys agree to, not whatever they want to testify to. They could do that independently. The idea is to have that by tonight. You know, so 3 to 5 points. The hearings for housing, I believe, are on March 24th. At 10:30 a.m. is public housing, and 11:30 is housing and something else. I don't know. I'll email you all the, because, you know, they're obviously in different chambers and whatever. So I'll get you more details. But it's all the hearings are posted, I believe.
The city council or the?
City council.
So it seems like one of the things that David brought up, like for our responses, one of the things we should be asking is more information, right? So for each project, thank you for that. Please clarify as to where this is occurring within our CD district, right? That would be good. Mhm. Now, they always say that they're going to try to do TIL, but the fact of the matter is that because the TIL program has morphed, it's very hard nowadays unfortunately, for them to, renovate buildings and try to sell it, for $250 and go to the first. So that's something that, again, we can ask, like, how legitimate is that response, right? Like, in terms of TIL, right? Because they're looking to preserve affordable housing, but affordable housing can mean lots of different definitions, right? Like through the ANCP program or something else, right? And, they may consider that anything new that's being built in the district that's affordable housing can fit that definition.
But also.
This is home ownership, right?
TIL is home ownership, and we hardly don't get a lot of home.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this TIL though, in this program, and we have to find out the ones that already paid into the city.
Right.
Like, that out of their escrow account, they put like even $80,000. You purchased that from the city. What happened to that money? Like on First Avenue that was complaining about it, and then nothing got done for them. So, they just all been scattered, relocated, and then what happened?
So I think
That's a problem then.
right, so I think we need to consider responding to what they said, how they said it, but then housing, taking what you just brought up and asking for, let's say, a presentation or someone to come in and give us more information, because that's a separate kind of thing, because you want to know what happened, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to give you that answer here, because this is a
Of course not, 'cause
budget.
they're gonna say they don't have the money or, the funding for it. But these individuals put in, from the escrow account to be able to purchase it from the city. And then, they the ones that,
So that's a good question, and that's a process question, and you can actually get
It's part of the
more
budget.
information about that, right? What else, David?
Well, we have to come up with a statement and submit it to the district needs committee, by next week.
Okay, so the statement you don't need tonight, but you
Well,
need,
what
you
we
need,
need tonight is
the-
some consensus on what we're,
Would vote on the consensus.
okay,
I think what Nilsa had suggested earlier when we spoke was she would also, we'd summarize a paragraph and send it out to everybody so that they could add comments as well. And highlighting the points that we talked about, more clarification on where projects are, what are they, timelines, are they identified in this community specifically? I think even again, as we talked about housing in the presentation, at the beginning, you know, I think that is some concern to be concerned about, because what happens in one that goes through, it seems to be a ripple effect in the city, right? So if they can get away, and our thing is, the AMI is always too hard for our community, right? So if they're already setting a standard in affordable housing, and again, you know, I think these are pieces we need to tie into all this, right? And then the last one, which they said they cannot accommodate, you know, we need to reach out to the elected officials, in terms of the walkways with NYCHA, but we know NYCHA is a beast.
Right,
You
so
know.
that might be where the problem, one of the problems could have been in that it was too broad, because NYCHA, we have so many developments here, and so it's great to ask, but I'm wondering if there's one or two that are worse than others to
Wagner looked pretty
potentially,
bad.
I know Wagner's bad,
Wagner.
but
That's where
I
the
know-
testimony part comes in.
right, and I
And we
know,
went out, right, so we could stay.
So
in
it's
that.
Washington.
Yeah.
Washington is terrible.
Board members conducted visits and observed that these kinds of, things need to be addressed, right, and priorities, but.
Mhm.
I mean, to make it easy, I think, David, you were right? Like the ones that they've said that they can accommodate, right? The question is more of then what are the details, right? What's the timeline, where, whatever. You can create a boilerplate response to
I think the other
those.
piece, and
Right.
you hit on this last night, you know, it just went out my head and came back in, is that we need to really reach out and meet more with the officials that are responding here, right? NYCHA, where do we go to? Where do we go to, right? Elected officials can come up with money that NYCHA can't come up with. I mean, I don't know. I know we've used the elected officials to help with the electric, right? And NYCHA, now is walkways the thing that the elected officials are responsible to see get fixed? You know, I always argue that premise, it's never a problem if something goes wrong. Somebody falls and smart enough to sue right enough, it will be fixed. Right? And so again, maybe we have to even approach some of these things as on public safety in combination around public safety. And stress the safety of that particular walkways, right? I mean, again, we know the pipes are bad, the plumbing's bad, right? It's just a list on the line. But maybe we have to bring NYCHA people in and start having the conversations and developing those relationships. And I'm not saying many of you do, I know you're very active in your NYCHA facility, right?
Right.
And you know, really speaks to the work and commitment that you all have. But sometimes it needs to be not you that lives there.
Right, it has to be somebody outside.
Right.
But you also need to know what are the parameters for NYCHA, because, well, speaking about me personally, right? I have a garden. It's on NYCHA property, but it's a green thumb garden. Green thumb won't do things because it's on NYCHA property. NYCHA won't do things because it's green thumb.
I was at a
So
community
it's
center,
like-
we can't get NYCHA
Right,
in a
so
NYCHA
in the
community
case
center.
of the walkways, right, who's responsible for the walkway? Because it's not just the walkway that's inside of Wagner, it's also the walkway that is
Inside.
around,
Right, but when you're a homeowner, right?
right.
Or you.
You're
have a business
responsible for that sidewalk.
to the street.
Right,
How many inches into
exactly.
the street? 18 inches into the street.
Right.
So who's responsible?
So
Is it New York
technically-
City? Is it?
With that in mind, NYCHA should be responsible for it, but they don't take responsibility for it. They say it's the city.
so, so with that
New York
said,
City?
so with that said, I wanna mention that our chair, took the lead in reaching out to NYCHA and actually got like 10 people here, including Brian Honan and
The
others,
CEO.
and the
Only a
CEO.
When I
can't
meant that
remember
global,
that.
I meant it for all committees.
No,
It wasn't
but
just
what I'm
specific
saying
committees.
is, so in the response to something like this, the response can be, you know,
Directed also to those,
that,
right?
right, directed to them, right?
Yes.
That the community board, however we phrase it, but that we are going to identify 2 or 3 of the NYCHA
So,
developments within
we got a lot,
CD11
Mm-hmm.
that needs the most, I know Wagner is terrible,
Mm-hmm.
that needs the work so that targeted funding, you know, like whatever, however it is, and we will reach out to NYCHA and others and elected officials to try to get some kind of a capital project done for money to be identified. I think that if we're too broad, they think about how much, because they were saying how they have lessened the budget this time around. And so they're only gonna do patchwork work wherever. So if we had like one or two places that we knew was really bad, that we could take pictures and potentially
pictures of
shame
Wagner's.
people. You,
I do. I have pictures of Wagner.
so, you know, especially since Wagner in the past has been, by our elected officials, there's been infusion of funds and programs because of the issues at Wagner. That might be a good place to start with, like just one, like, okay, we want everything, but this one, can we start with one and identify certain areas that need help, like ASAP, and see what happens, and then bringing in our council people and stuff like that to see if, you know, NYCHA can actually put in applications, you know, for funding and stuff like that. But, you know, I think that when we're too broad, it's just easy to, you know, it seemed like we got favorable responses on the
No,
other
I
one,
was
but
even
maybe
thinking of
doing that.
Washington really being bad as well, but they have construction, so that wouldn't be timely to be there, because they do have construction.
Well, we can mention both of them, you know, so that
But
at
Wagner
least
is
two.
bad. Maybe like
But
you're saying,
Wagner.
you need to really focus, right? Because elected officials, if they have money, it's still limited to.
On the discretionary.
Right.
So would it be to our best advantage that when we have our own detail and show them that, like, we know that this area is the one that's the problem, and it's gonna cost this many dollars to fix it, and we want that money to be allocated to that area right now for that budget? Is that the details that we wanna push on them?
We can potentially, I don't know if it will make a difference if they're saying that they don't have resources for that, but I think,
But they
If
said
you-
they would work with us, right?
right, with the
So
electeds and
why don't we
stuff.
bring them in and say, look, how could we work? There are serious safety issues with
Right.
walkways in our community and many NYCHA facilities. We went out and done, you know, studies and looked at stuff
And while we
ourselves.
recognize that it may take, you know, a lot of money,
Yeah,
this
no,
is a safety issue for our seniors because, I mean, Wagner is horrendous in terms of the layout, in terms of what the kids have to play. Only a section by the multi-service center got rehabilitated, but our community people there don't get the benefits of a lot of things for a lot of reasons. And, you know, definitely if we pick one or two projects that we can advocate, we might be able to see that. And I see my chair has this little hand up over there. Go ahead.
I'll make you do the Trump thing, and that's why I
He's
don't.
like this, he's like this, and I'm like, okay.
I don't care. My suggestion, and I agree, is I think, you know, we'll be coming into October, and maybe that's where, you know, we redo them to be more specific in some instances. I think with this, it seems to me like there can be a pretty general response in our statement, which is just like, you know, thank you, we acknowledge that you're gonna do it, but, you know, we need more specifics, right? Like, we're getting these broad responses. And then sometimes I guess broad requests get broad answers, right? So maybe that's what's happening. But my suggestion is, since they were mostly positive feedback, which makes me look good, right? But I would just do that. The pushback is, okay, great, you know, but what's the time frame? What's it? So I think that should be the thing you guys agree on, that allowed like the budget committee to know where to go with this. The thing with the electeds, that might be something to go testify to. You're gonna be in front of the city
That's what I
council.
was thinking.
That might be the
was a big
testimony,
piece.
right? Because you don't want to
And focus on
testify for what they said
safety.
yes to, really.
Safety, seniors, children, you know, there's many reasons to fix it up.
Yeah.
So do we wanna come up
liability.
with our statement now, and I'll
Yes,
try to
please.
write. Thank
So
you
we're gonna
so
do the
much.
statement based on the acts that,
Statements are based on, yeah,
what they said they can do,
basically,
and give us more details on the ones that they said yes to.
right.
Okay.
You know, just be like, yeah, like, whatever it is you guys wanna know, right? Like, if they said that we support, keeping Till affordable, right? I mean, I guess I would wonder, what does that mean? What property specifically? What's the time frame? What's the home ownership situation going there, right? Because it can be affordable without becoming home ownership. So I think these are all questions. And then I was gonna say this, and I would say it really quickly, right? That's the point. This shouldn't stop here, right? We know the agencies that all these things are linked to. And Angel made that point yesterday, and I thought about it. And just quickly, but I'm gonna go to every committee and say this, I'm gonna show up to the chairs and executive. Obviously, the chairs can do their agendas, right? But there could be a base agenda every month, which is two things. One is this, right? So you see this now, you want more information from HPD on request number 3, okay. Have HPD come next month, present on that, ask them, right? That's one way to look at agendas, build them around our needs. And then the other one touches the other side of it, right? Our electeds. Well, how do you get your electeds here? How you work with them? Go online, look at their bills, see what bills they're co-sponsoring, see what bills they have, see which of those bills aligns with what we're asking for, and then reach out to them. Send a rep, how can we support you? How can we push that agenda forward? And that kind of touches here, right? There's one aspect, the narrative is to what they agreed on, and the testimony should be to what they said no to. And that would be the strategy here, I think, and the strategy for every committee. So.
It's a good one.
Okay, so we're gonna thank them for their response, right? And we're gonna say, thank you for your response. We are requesting a little bit and more in specifics in terms of your frame for this, whatever the ask is. For Till home ownership, as part of East Harlem, we have been pushing for home ownership for decades. And so we are interested in, one, let's say whatever funding can be put in, and two, is there, I'm not gonna put that in the response for us to look into, but
Specifically
there's no
to which
real
buildings
till-
are Till
right.
buildings.
right, and there's really no Till anymore. Like it's
Gone,
more.
it's just
It's,
what's,
you know,
like
we,
Mitchell Island, it's still existing,
but there's only like 2 or
No
3
more.
projects here within, I think 2 in East Harlem, I believe.
These two
2 or
buildings
3.
and the 311 is the only 3 that I know of. In total, the one in 129th Street, they're doing under the ANCP program. So that's being, construction is being done on that one as we speak.
Okay, so, obviously, we're thinking about what we're gonna say. Is it allowable to do a motion, to craft responses, requesting information on time frame, and depending on the specifics, to craft a response? Yes, Angel?
Respectfully, you guys are going off track.
Okay, go ahead.
The exercise is to respond to the preliminary budget, not the rest of that stuff.
Okay,
You can do all the rest of that stuff, but that's not what the exercise is.
okay,
So the statement is supposed to contain the community board's assessment of the responsiveness of the preliminary budget to its statement of budget priorities, and any other comments or recommendations which it wishes to make in regard to the preliminary budget. The rest of that stuff you all should pursue by other means,
Okay.
whatever you have the letters. But this exercise is specifically speaking to the preliminary budget. You asked for something, they gave you, they said what they think, yes, no, and then what you want to say about that. You're commenting on what was responsible.
about that specific
Those
ask.
specific things. And the responses should be organized by the agency you sent them to. So this committee submitted 13 requests, 1 to DOT, 1 capital request to DOT, 2 capital requests to HPD, 1 capital request to NYCHA, 1 expense request to the Department of Finance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expense requests to HPD, and 3 expense requests to HRA. Those 13 are the ones you should be speaking to, because that's what they responded to. Like, you asked for that, they gave you a response. So whatever you think of those, if you want to say something to each of the 13 or just some of them, that's what your response should be. And I would advise not sitting here to craft a statement.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I would suggest sitting here and agreeing how you want to move forward, and then somebody could be tasked with, making that a paragraph or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And then you can just, share that across emails or whatever.
Okay.
Otherwise, writing that, we're gonna be here all evening.
No.
If you wanna do that, I will lend you my keys.
I got them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
idea was the bullet points, right?
Yeah.
What's
I
the
think, yeah.
gist of and I think the response to most could be the same. And then, like Angel said, right? As long as you know the direction of it, that's enough. The committee just has to agree in principle.
All right, so what I'm going to do is, because I don't have it in front of me, I'm
Can I
sorry.
read them for you?
No, you don't have to, but if you tell me the,
That's fine.
do you
I'll
want to?
take
Okay,
them,
read
because
it.
I
Go
can't
ahead.
find them in my drive. I'll take
Yeah,
them.
or at least you tell us
can't.
what page.
I'll send you the
No.
direct link.
My whole free drive is
I'll
gone.
send you the link.
I don't have anything.
I'll email
Yeah.
it.
I'm still looking for it.
I'll send it to you guys if it helps when I get home.
Christina, I'm the same boat.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I have nothing. I have
Okay,
nothing.
Okay, let's hear Angel a minute so that you can tell us the page or whatever you want.
All right, so for those of you that have it in front of you, page 267,
Okay,
268,
268?
capital requests.
Okay.
Capital requests, where's that, never mind. Capital request 2 and 4. So 2 is to provide, expand, or enhance loan programs to rehabilitate multiple buildings. Like Dave said before, they said their support and can accommodate. HPD is constantly adding new rehabilitation and preservation projects, so it's a development pipeline.
Okay.
And then 4 was other capital budget requests. This is the TIL one. Agency supports and can accommodate. HPD is committed to rehabilitating TIL buildings and preserving them as affordable housing. Those are the 2 HPD capital ones.
What page?
Those are both
268.
168. Sorry, it's organized differently than I'm organized. For DOT on page 273, capital request 3, the committee asked for the repair or construction of repair or construct sidewalks, curbs, or pedestrian ramps. These are the ones by NYCHA. The agency responded, agency supports and can accommodate. Together with NYCHA, an inspection can be carried out in the district to determine if ramp construction or repairs are needed to respond in accordance with ADA. And then they ask for you to provide specific locations or concerns.
Okay.
It's interesting, the different kind of responses.
So that's, Echo, you don't have. Housing Authority, you have 1 capital request for NYCHA, which is on page 274. And the request is other public housing upgrades or renovations or requests. This is also similar. This is also the walkway one. So we targeted, you targeted 1 to DOT and 1 to NYCHA. I'm trying to get the same thing, which is smart. The agency says, agency supports but cannot accommodate. We are happy to work with elected stakeholders to find the funding for this project. That's the NYCHA one.
Angel, I want to make sure I not mix things up, but when they say agency supports, they mean that specific housing authority, right? Not the city, like, because
It's
know what I
the
mean?
agencies. Yeah.
It's the individual agency.
Yes. Expense. Okay, so now we move on to expense. Page 283 of pages 283 and page 284. You have 5 of them. So expense 1, committee asked to provide or enhance rental subsidy programs. The agency supports but cannot accommodate due to the need for federal funding. Number 2 is request. The request is to provide, expand, or enhance programs for housing inspections to correct code violations. The committee listed out alternative enforcement program preservation program. So, underlying conditions program and anti-harassment and inspections of code violations. The agency responds to different requests. I guess this is an ongoing thing that they do. This is a priority for the administration. HPD will continue to work with key stakeholders to ensure poor housing conditions in NYC are properly enforced. Number 3, other expense requests for HPD, increase funding for affordable housing preservation. Agency supports and can accommodate. Similarly, this is like an ongoing thing. Thank you for this request. We agree that your district needs additional affordable housing. HPD will continue to use all tools available, including but not limited to light tech, to fund construction and affordable housing, blah, 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 blah. That's number 3. 4, it's on page 284. The request is to provide, expand, or enhance community outreach on HPD programs and services. More specifically, this is to provide funding to increase awareness of HPD programs and services, particularly DREE and SCREE. These are supports for the disabled and for seniors. Agency supports and can accommodate. Let me give an explanation. And then lastly, 5 is other requests. This is to provide other budget requests for HPD. Here you're asking for to provide funding for additional vouchers for seniors, returning veterans, and their families. And they responded, agency supports but cannot accommodate. While the agency supports additional vouchers for households in need of rental assistance, Section 8 is a federal resource with limited availability. So that's not in their pocket. Then we move on to HRA.
It's page 289 again? 290? 290. For
requests 2 and 3 to start. So number 2 is, expense number 2 is provide, expand, and enhance rental assistance programs budget for permanent housing. This is modify eligibility criteria to include single-parent families that are homeless or at risk of homelessness, more specifically. The request has been completed. This is like an ongoing thing. DSS is committed to connecting New Yorkers experiencing homelessness to permanent housing and has made significant investments through various programs. Number 3, other domestic violence service requests, more specifically, provide housing assistance for domestic violence survivors, domestic violence considered. That's just an explanation. The request has been completed. You already read it, but don't want to double down. So again, it's another one of these ongoing things. HRA continues to maintain programs for domestic violence survivors in emergency shelter, for example, hotline services, blah, 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 blah. The agency also worked closely with the mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence for information on additional supports. And then the last HRA one is number 6, which is on page 292. Other expense requests. City should increase funding for group representation for tenants. This request has been completed. HRA funds anti-harassment legal services to work across the city with tenants, buildings, and tenant associations to help preserve their housing, protect against harassment or misconduct, blah, 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 blah. And that, I think, is the last expense one. Yes. And then the capital one for DOT.
Yeah.
Check it out. And that's all of it. So it's up to you guys to decide whether you think those positives, whether you're saying yes is sufficient, or what do you want? Add a comment about those?
There was one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the capital ones, we should all just get more clarification first, please. The till, we should.
Get a timeline.
Yeah, but how do we want to kind of frame that?
There's no way to just give it like a shot in the arm.
That's all they need to do is just fund it.
Yeah, they gave them the money, they took it, used that money and fixed it.
Who holds the money in escrow?
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, is now that I know the pages, and I'm gonna start something, comments on that. I'll circulate it to everyone in the committee. Please feel free to add it. I don't know if, I'm not really handy with this, but a statement, one document where people can add or change might be the best way to go, where you go in and you
Like a
directly
Google Doc,
comment.
yeah.
That's it. So Google Doc, I'll start something and then I'll send the link if I can figure it out. If not, then Rehab will be hosting. And then you can add, and then we can finalize, and then
And what's
if
the due
everyone's
date on
approved,
this?
as ASAP, as soon as possible. What is it, the 15th?
We have next week.
Yeah, suggested to have it to them by the 13th at 3 p.m.
I didn't get that.
Friday.
Could you try again?
Okay,
Uh,
so March 13th by 3.
I think we have to submit it by the 25th of March, after,
Okay.
so
All
after
right.
full board, to give them time to put together.
All righty.
Angel, do you feel there's any need for them to take like a vague position just on like, this is what you're gonna do, like not specifics, but request, like for approvals, we're gonna ask for additional information, right? And then even I just wanna say one thing, because it's bothering me, and I'll write it, well, it's not bothering me, it's a good thing, like 290, number 2, said this request has already been completed. I mean, I kind of like to just take people for what they say. We said, this was specifically about the 1515 program and essentially creating another bucket for families that were not suffering from any issues except for homelessness. And they're saying this request has already been completed. If I'm just gonna be literal, I'd like to see where that was actually created. I'm gonna go check tonight, because there's a list of which ones qualify. And if it's not on there, then I guess I wonder what their response really means, which then kind of opens its own conversation, right?
Right.
So I think too, the other thing I think is maybe there's a motion just to agree that their testimony might be given on the things that have not been completed, or things that have been completed that we need more understanding on.
Okay.
And then maybe, is there anybody who would want to go testify is a good question to ask.
Testify at the city council,
Yep, at the budget hearings,
at the budget.
specifically on the housing, and then specifically on when you guys are done with this and you submit on the 13th, you'll have your testimony finalized, and you basically be going and reading the script, kind of. So that's up to you guys. It'd be nice to get someone to go, or online.
When is it?
The 24th, I think there's 10:30 is public housing, and then 11:30 is housing and housing and buildings. I'm gonna try to go in person and stuff, but I don't really want to testify. I think it should be people from the committees testifying. Like, if somebody wants to go in person with me, I'm happy to keep you company, be supportive. But it's up to you guys if you want to think about it, but it'd be good, right? Like, they see us there and this and that, So that's just an idea.
Everybody used to go before.
So would somebody, based on what our chair has suggested, would somebody like to make a motion regarding this statement?
I make a motion, help me out here, that NILSA will put together a preliminary statement that we all will add to have ready for budget committee next week on the 13th.
Is there a second? Yes.
Do we have to vote on this? Is this like?
I think the only reason I say, I might be wrong, I'm not the best, it's consent to.
We're in consensus as opposed to taking a motion because this wouldn't be a motion that's brought up before full board.
But you can make a motion just for the committee's understanding. I mean, I don't think it hurts to go on the record and you say
Having
that.
a vote, majority vote. What's
Yeah.
the consensus of
Well, that's it, yeah.
Because if you take a motion, then there's certain requirements, have to vote, pass, create, I don't know. Point of clarification?
Whatever makes you guys comfortable.
Like, I don't think we should just create procedures to make procedures.
Okay, so
Like,
Christina,
we know what we have to do every year.
Right, so Christina so I'll change the word from motion. Christina has restated what this committee will, the next steps that the committee will do in order to ensure that there is a statement by March 13th. I will craft a statement, if everyone is in agreement with that. I will craft a statement so everyone will add their expert comments and revisions. And then if that is fine, then we will send it with the understanding that whether we have a motion or not, that is our assignment, and that's my assignment. And we will add to it. And then from there, we will then, it will be on a Google Doc, help me Lord. And then hopefully everyone will add to it. So that is the understanding. We all understand that we're all expected to participate in this, even if you don't have anything to say, just please, make a comment, even if it's in an email, if you don't change anything, that you reviewed it and that you're fine with it, so that we know that everybody participated. I'm sorry. Also, as recommended by our chair, and to make sure that we are taken seriously, we're gonna look within our schedules, those who can and feel comfortable, to see if we could provide testimony, either virtual
Or written.
or a written, or submitting. So we have either in person, virtual, or written. At the very least, we should submit, and that should be a no-brainer, because if we're coming up with this, we should definitely submit our written testimony. If it's more impactful by reading it into the record,
It will be.
then, anyone who feels comfortable and thinks that they can do it, then, we'll pursue that, as well. So just think about it. You're very articulate. I'm just saying, right? So, is there anything else in terms of David or Angel, based on, what you brought up and what you discussed at this committee, or that I should know as I'm crafting an initial draft?
I would say if it's due on the 13th, that we should be completed with it by the Wednesday, not wait till the 13th. And as I am on that committee, I'll look at it last and then feedback and then give it back to, send it back to Milsa. And that's, let's move forward.
Okay.
I gotta do youth as well, so, I wanna get this one done first and then work on youth.
So it's not the 15th, it's the
It's
13th?
the 13th. And that's so that they get it by next, the committee gets it by next Friday, and Sage
Someone had a
wants to
hand
work on it on the weekend, putting all the committee's responses together in a document, so it gives them, 3 days to work on it.
All right, thank you. Angel?
Sure, so if I overheard you guys murmuring before, commenting about not knowing how to find things on the drive, it's illegal for me to strike you, so I won't.
So we can tutor in there? Come on, give us the tutor.
So I'll show you, so log into your
No,
Gmail.
I did. It's just not.
Can I explain it, please?
Okay.
Log into Gmail. Write it down.
Log into your Gmail, look, I'm showing you.
No, but still write it
On the
down.
left-hand side here, it says share drives,
Yeah.
click that, board member drive. And this is organized by committees. Just scroll down to your committee, this is the housing committee. Right, there's a folder for draft letters and resolutions. And you wanna create a document, so you go new, Google Doc, blank document, and just title it.
Oh, that's how you do that. I do everything in Word. My apologies.
That's okay, but you can't share that one.
No, I'll learn. No, I know. Okay, everyone, pay attention to what Angel's doing, please. So we go through it once.
And there it is, and that one, you guys all have access to, Christina. You all have access to, so you all can look in the same place and make edits together. Okay? Does that, anybody have questions? Anybody that wasn't paying attention, Ms. Johnson?
Does everybody understand what Angel just said? Because we won't want us
Okay,
to
I
this
didn't know
twice.
how to find my shared drive. I'm
Okay.
in my shared drive.
Okay,
There is nothing there from community board, I'm telling you.
Is that the email that you have with the board?
Yeah, I used the both of them. I have community board 11 and I have Lexington houses and there's nothing in there from community board.
Double check that your emails in there.
I see it on the other drives, no?
No, I only use 2 emails for
No,
here.
no, but other drives, like where it shows the shared
It
drive.
wouldn't go in the other drive.
Our regular Gmail that you all have for us, right?
Is that it?
Oh, I can't see that.
Well, it's
C.
there.
Johnson.
Yeah, that's it. And it's not in there.
Let me just.
Oh, I gotta
Okay,
go
you
into,
in
I gotta see
Lexington, let
the
me put you
11.
back. Right.
I guess.
C. Johnson
That
dot?
was it.
Okay, all
That's
right.
my
So
shared
I-
drive.
I don't, we should have a CB11.
Right.
No, there is a drive, I've seen it before, I've gone in there, I just don't know how to create, I've never actually really worked on Google Doc, even though you guys do it. So now I know that I just create new and I just do it and then everybody
There
gets
you
it shared. So, everybody has access to the
Files.
drive.
Nope.
And so from there, I'm gonna craft
So
something
it
in a
wasn't
Google
shared,
Doc.
it was in files.
Well, it's in the files of your shared drive,
Okay.
but it might be easier on the computer.
All right, so, okay, so just to bring it back, just to bring it back, hello? Just to bring it back, I'm gonna create a Google Doc. Everybody, the link is gonna be shared. You're expected to add your comments. We're gonna target the Wednesday of next week. And then from there, we're gonna send it to District Needs and Budget. And then District Needs and Budget will give back any feedback. The final part of that will be used as testimony, submitted written and as well can be read into the record. With that said, I'm going to move into old business. Any old business? Speak now, y'all look thunderstruck. It's like, nobody was,
I don't have any.
Nope.
okay, new business is us doing the old business of the district needs and budget commentary, okay? With that said, if there's nothing else, roll call, Angel.
Marie Charles, absent. David Giordano,
President.
James Gray,
President.
John Green, absent. Christina Johnson,
Present.
James Kemp, absent. Jessica Morris is absent. Elsa Rama,
Present.
Beverly Pavone,
Present.
Don Sanders,
Present.
Loretta So,
Present.
Candy Vasquez.
President.
Yeah,
Thank you for all who's attended this meeting. This meeting is adjourned at 7:55 PM. Have a good night.